Hello, I'm Otto Tausk, Music Director of the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra, and it's a very special week because we're starting a wonderful project on Schumann. We will play all 4 Schumann symphonies in 2 seasons, starting with number 2 this week. With that, we have asked Canadian composers to write a companion piece with every symphony. And the first composer that has written a piece for us is Linda Catlin Smith. Now this is actually a co-production with the Victoria Symphony. So in many ways it's a very special project about connecting the orchestra, connecting music, connecting Schumann, the old composer, with a contemporary composer. And it's also a really special week because we have as a soloist with us, Nikki Chooi. Welcome, Nikki. It's wonderful to have you in Vancouver.
Such a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, but I'm sure you know Vancouver really well because you are originally from Victoria.
Yes.
Which is like around the corner. So
just a ferry ride away.
It's a ferry ride away. It's a beautiful place. I've been there once, and I'm bringing my family over in May, and I really want to show Victoria. I think I really love that place. But especially in this week, because this whole production is together with Victoria Symphony, and now having a soloist from Victoria makes it all the more special. We have only just met, but I do know your brother and your mother,
yes,
because the Mendelssohn concerto you will play with us this week as our soloist was also the piece that your brother, Timothy, and I did in Amsterdam in the Concertgebouw some months ago. So I fell in love with the Chooi family, and it's really great to have you now with us.
No, it's really wonderful to be here, and what a pleasure to meet you, Otto.
Thank you.
And I heard that performance of Timothy and yourself playing the Mendelssohn concerto. Great collaboration there.
Yeah,
so I'm really excited to do it with you this
Fantastic.
time.
Yeah, that's really great. So is this your first time playing with the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra?
Yes, this is actually my very first time, and just growing up from the island, I've always loved coming over to the mainland to perform, whether it's for the Vancouver Recital Series or recording with CBC. I always got this extra jolt of excitement to play here.
Right. And this is, I think it's one of the great stories to inspire young musicians. At the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra, we have this incredibly wonderful institute, the School of Music, which in which building we're actually now. It's a great building, and it's a great institute, and it's wonderful. I think also very unique situation to have a school with the orchestra. I don't know any other orchestra actually that has that. And thinking about the school and thinking about you as a young violinist coming from this area and then growing to be a world-renowned soloist and concertmaster of famous orchestras, how is it to be home again?
Oh, it's really a pleasure. My first lessons were taken at the Victoria Conservatory of Music. Started with the Suzuki program, the Suzuki method, and as I grew older, I kept going east, mm-hmm. and first to Calgary, Ottawa, and then Curtis and Juilliard. And but every time I go back, to the West Coast, I have such a I have such a great support system here that teachers, family, friends, they are always so supportive when I come back.
Yes.
So it's really special.
So I can imagine you will have a lot of friends in the audience.
Yes, I've got several messages and texts, we're wonderful. Coming, some of them are coming from the island, so it's really awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what happened in your life? You grew up here, and then you told me you've actually been concertmaster of the Met Orchestra, which is one of the best orchestras in the world. Now you're in Buffalo. You play a lot of chamber music. You play as a soloist. You have like this huge diversity of things you do as a violinist. How do you manage all that?
Well, I'm someone who likes a challenge, and anything that opens myself up to being able to express myself as a musician, I'm like, I want to try it. And that kind of led my career path, especially after school, after my master's at Juilliard. I was like, okay, I won a few competitions, got some solo opportunities, and then I had the opportunity to join this genre bending trio, Time for Three. And I was like, I want to do that. Let's do it. So I did that for a season, learned so much from the other players, the music we played, and then the opportunity at the Met came, and I was like, what a dream to be able to be part of such a great orchestra, to come into rehearsal every day, to hear some of the most amazing voices in the world. You know, just being surrounded by that really taught me a lot. It just gave me a whole new perspective of things. And then chamber music, guest concertmastering, and now the opportunity in Buffalo. You know, I'm able to, you know, lead an orchestra, and it's been great. So yeah.
So if you would like to give a message to all the young people now here in Vancouver playing violin and think, wow, what a dream life. What would be the best advice you would give yourself, thinking of yourself at that age, let's say the age of 13, 14, 15, playing the violin, really enjoying it, and thinking, I want to spend my life with music. Just imagine yourself at that age. What would be the first advice that comes to mind that you would give yourself?
I would say just so several steps of advice. Work really hard, really develop your foundation so you're able to be versatile, you know, as you get older. Second would be to be curious, to, you know, like if it doesn't have to be, you know, a certain kind of music, you know, just be curious about art, about music in general, performance, you know, the whole experience. Just take it all in and try to pave your own path, you know, like there's so many paths as a classical musician you can make, and there's always room for more. And I think especially with things digitizing and all that, the space for creativity is even larger than before. So that's what I would tell myself if I went back in time.
It's very interesting what you're saying about find your own path, because my experience in music and in life is actually that if you found something that really suits you well, that you find this is who I am. It's very important to not only realize that, but also to hold on to that, because in our world, it's very easy to be distracted by, oh, that's also nice. Oh, I can try it that way, or have doubts about, oh, maybe I've got it all wrong, or and to believe in your, let's say, your instinct is such a powerful thing as a musician. But it also means that you have to be rather vulnerable. You have to be rather open about what you think we should be doing, you know, right? And with the piece we're playing. And we're doing the Mendelssohn Concerto. And Mendelssohn in this program is actually a very good fit, because the premiere of the second Schumann symphony we're playing on the program was conducted by Mendelssohn. And Mendelssohn and Schumann were connected as friends. They wrote letters. Clara, Schumann's wife, was a friend of his sister, of Fanny Mendelssohn. There is a wonderful moment in one of the letters Schumann wrote, coming out of a difficult time in his life. Schumann had lots of difficult moments in his life, depressions and hallucinations, and coming out of that dark period, he had this idea of trumpets and timpani in C major, and somehow that helped him overcome this darker period, and he started writing that second symphony. And that gave him the energy and the the confidence to go on and start enjoying life again. This is how I imagine. This is of course, I wasn't there, and who am I to say how he felt? But this is my idea of how it might have been for him. And this is also what you hear very strongly in the symphony, is that it kind of goes from a struggle to a huge liberation. And at the same time, it's incredibly sensitive music, and that's also something that I find in the concerto, in the Mendelssohn concerto, that it's romantic in a sense that it's looking for expression, but at the same time, it has a kind of intimacy and a delicacy, and it's sometimes it's very fragile as well. And in that way, for me, it relates beautifully to the Schumann.
I think it's a great combination.
It's a great combination. So what does the Mendelssohn mean to you? Yeah.
Well, personally, it was actually one of the very first concertos I played with orchestra. It was with the Victoria Symphony, and it was at an event called the Symphony Splash. I don't know if you know. It's at the harbor, and there's like 40,000 people come up.
Wow.
And I played the last movement. So that was definitely a moment in my childhood that I look back and I remember that very well. Yeah. But in terms of the concerto as a whole, I learned it when I was young. Have revisited regularly over several years at a time. And each time I take a look at it again, I always find ways to reshape a phrase, a little timing here and there, new harmonies that I search out that I want to bring out, and I guess that's the highlight of why it's such a masterpiece, because it's a never-ending process. You can always look for more things to highlight, more things to change, and
that's a bit our life, isn't it? It will never end, and that's kind of it's depressing because you're never going to reach the end.
Well, if you enjoy the process.
But if you enjoy the process, exactly.
That's what it's about.
And that's what I find especially when you retake pieces that you might have done years ago, and you just look at them again and you think about the music, and you might have so many different ideas. I find that one of the most beautiful things of our life, what we do. Well, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, Otto.
We're really looking forward to the concerts.
Likewise.
We play on Friday and on Saturday night in the Orpheum with Nikki Chooi, the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto. Thank you very much.
Thank you.